Hello, and welcome to Simulacra Studios presents Trinity, Continuum, Aeon, Luna Rocks. I am your story guide, Scott. Today we are very happy to see the return of Puka playing Mycelian. Hello. And we
Hello.
have Diane playing Frankie and Murphy playing Hannah. Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Pretty
How are you?
good.
Cool. All right. So, we've been discussing off camera what Mycelian has been up to. Mainly, they have been doing a lot of the grunt work of keeping the shows going. Both the main show that you guys put on, as well as the collaboration with Rising Sion to do the Jump Bang project. And they have earned a lot of street cred and a lot of cred amongst the community for really being a workhorse on making sure that the shows go on and the art goes on while their bandmates have crazy adventures.
Someone has to. I mean,
Yeah, someone has to, and we have to explain the absence somehow. So we have worked all that out. But yeah, so to rewind slightly a bit, the show did go off very well, and there was a lot of fun fireworks. You guys tussled with the Liberty Lads going off. There was shortly after an aberrant attack on Olympus, which was very terrifying. Mycelian would have been separated from the group when that happened. So let's explore what happened when that occurred with Mycelian. Where would you think he'd be? Because it just it happened in the middle of the day kind of situation, and it's mostly focused on the dome. There was a dome breach, which was a big problem for people in the dome. But the lower levels and the levels that were more sealed off didn't see much damage or combat, but it was still a very tense situation. So where would you think Mice would be when that happened, given that you were separated from your band?
Yeah. At the time, if they cat incoming, sorry.
Uh-oh, kitty.
If the mascot for the evening, if they weren't in the middle of doing some kind of long haul 72-hour binge hollow art creation thing for the upcoming shows, or crashing to recover from one of those binges, they probably would have absolutely ducked and covered. They're not a hero. If there's an aberrant attack, they're going to find the sturdiest table and get underneath it, because that's what they taught us in school.
Yeah, absolutely. You could definitely have made your way, because there are shelters in place for this sort of thing that the emergency systems did recommend people get to, which you could easily either have found a safe place in your workspace, or have gotten to one of those shelters and just weathered the storm. Like I said, nothing too catastrophic happened. Because the forces of the United Nations military, Luna security, and various scions were able to fight the attack off before much bad things happened. So it was mostly a very tense, scary experience that did not result in great tragedy.
They probably got in touch with their parents after too, just out of that, vague sense of love or whatever it is. So. Just everything okay?
Yeah. They appreciate the contact. They appreciate reaching out. They're higher up, so they had a little bit more of a scare. But nothing. No one got hurt. Nothing too terrible was done to their house or anything like that. So yeah, they appreciate the contact and entreat you to come home or stay in touch closer in the future.
How's your little art project going, honey?
Yes, kind of that is exactly. Another thing that did happen is it's not so much. You definitely are getting a lot of good response from the band community for your show and the collaboration with Rising Sion. Also, Frankie put out a single after the attack. Basically a very stripped down kind of solo thing that has also gathered a lot of attention for Wonderroot. So yeah, it is going well. But we will come back after the various interpersonal things that have happened between people here and there in the wake of all these big happenings. And we'll return to the crash space. You guys have been in contact, you've seen each other, but it's just there's been some distance especially between Mycelium and the rest of the group. But schedules have cleared up. The shows are they're not done, but they're definitely sort of trailing off. New shows have come up that have sort of grabbed the limelight. It's the cycle of these things. So the rush of intense work that you have to do to maintain that is starting to die down. So you guys have been able to reconnect, get your schedules together, and have like a band meeting. Bram is doing gangster shit. You don't exactly know what he's up to, but he is definitely doing gangster shit, and you don't know about it. So yeah, we will come back to the crash space where the three of you guys are having a sit down.
So, how's it going? I don't even know how long it's been. It's been like a day, a week. It's hard to tell.
Something like that.
It's been more like a week, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
We live on the moon. What even is a week, Just
half a day?
It's like whatever you want it to be.
All right. Are you high already?
It's difficult to tell sometimes.
I'm going to go with yeah. I mean, that's fine, but why aren't you sharing?
Oh, I got plenty. Here. Mice takes a small log with various multicolored fungi growing off of it and offers them.
Frankie's always up to try weird shit, so she's down to clown.
Are these like fully natural shrooms, or have you been tinkering any with them?
It's a buffet. It's the smorgasbord for all tastes and preferences. Try the cerulean ones with the little specks on them.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah. So the time clock has started. Noted. But yeah, continue.
So Hannah, how's being psychic?
I'm getting more used to it. It's actually has come in pretty handy a few times, and it's kind of better at fixing people than seeing stuff. When I have feelings about things, I'm not very good at interpreting it, and Hannah just looks off for a bit, thinking about a run-in with the person from Trinity. Yeah, it's all right. We got, that guy Bram that's been kind of helping out. Well, whatever. I'm not gonna violate his privacy, I guess. But Anyway,
he's the one with the shoulders and the chin.
He's the one with the really nice ass.
Has a really excellent suit.
I guess the suit's okay too.
These are the important attributes.
His mom's real nice.
He's real good at his job. So, pro for that. I don't know. He's all right.
Hannah kind of looks over at Frankie. Yeah, he's fine.
I don't know. Anyway, we're moving on from that. He's not here, so we're not going to talk about him.
She likes him.
Shut up. Y'all are awful.
You got to do, you do you. You do you.
He met my dad. My dad didn't kill him.
It's a good start.
It is a good start. He usually kills people, so him not killing him is a good start.
Does he usually kill the people you like? Like when you take them home to introduce them?
Depends. He hasn't killed Hannah like Hannah.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Didn't know that was on the table, honestly, Frankie. Oh, sorry, Mice.
Your dad terrifies me a bit. I won't lie. And
me too now.
That's a good thing. He probably should. He does kind of run a crime syndicate anyway. But that was really rude of the Rising Sun people. They almost didn't want to work with us because they thought we had criminal element ties. Like
we do. 2 of them, big ones.
So
They didn't even know about you. They were only just worried about this being in, dealing with the Vikings.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
But it all went smoothly. It all went off without a hitch.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't heard from him in a bit, but
We haven't done the show right yet, Scott, the jump show.
Yeah, no, you guys have done the jump show.
Oh, that's right. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that is it's a very different setup
just for putting it
from
on,
doing your own show, because you're literally like you're basically playing a very elaborate media file across multi-media sound, video, holographic, some haptic stuff. It's you're essentially playing a video over a very expensive system. But yeah, so that's something sort of more that you manage than you put on.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that happened. But no, my dad likes you, Hannah. It's okay.
I mean, I like him too. I guess I just kind of prefer he forgets I exist, really.
He said you could come to dinner.
It's hard to turn down a home cooked dinner.
Oh, it's not home cooked. We always go out, but it's kind of home cooked because the people who run the restaurant are home. Anyway, yes. What? We did. We went to a nice little restaurant. It was great. I think he only threatened him once or twice. I could have been wrong. He could have threatened him some more when I wasn't paying attention, but I mean, it worked out. Also, my dad's super pissed at the Liberty Lads, by the way. He's going to be investigating them, so he might be giving us some information on them. Apparently, he doesn't like the fact that they tagged his daughter's whatever crash space stuff. I don't know. It was a while ago.
I'm sure if he's not watching your social media, one of his guys is, and they probably saw that unpleasantness in the Star Bar.
I mean,
I'm sure everybody saw it
because he seemed pretty surprised.
Well, if they come across it in their investigations, he'll hate them even more.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he doesn't particularly care for them. That's all right.
I hope he appreciates how that unpleasantness at the Star Bar was mixed with an absolutely exquisite piece of artwork that we all created. And that's something he can be proud of for his heir. I don't know, is heir the right term? Are you an heir?
I'm like the youngest, so I'm not getting jack shit. If that's what you're talking about.
Is that the term? Maid?
What?
He's asking if you're going to be running the crime show.
Yeah.
I mean, at least no. I'm pretty sure I'm not.
We can do our own crimes. Thank you very much, Mice.
I mean,
well, I'm so open.
I want. Look, it's complicated. Like currently he's all like, yeah, you do your thing, you go out there and whatever, as long as your lifestyle doesn't affect me. And like the more popular we get, the more likely it's going to affect him. So we'll see how that goes. That's a bridge I'm going to cross when we get there. But as it currently goes, like I'm the baby, so I'm pretty sure that I'm not going to get jack shit of the Empire. So pretty sure it's going to be for my like brothers. They're older than me. And he's been like training them.
Jack shit of an empire is still a lot more than most of us get, so.
I mean, mostly I just get to be like, do you know who my daddy is? And then they're like, oh yeah, we know who your daddy is. Let's go that way. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. Right. Not that I can't back it up, but they don't know that.
If Wonderroot doesn't actually have a cat, Mice is probably like handling an imaginary hallucinatory cat.
Yeah, absolutely. And like making it real with holograms.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like found a stray and brought her to our crash space.
Oh, we totally have cats.
It's fine with that.
But there might also be a holographic one, and you never even know the difference.
That's entirely
You make it do the mirror thing with the cat and
infinite cats.
Infinite cats.
Which cat has Frankie brought home this week? But we should start planning our new show. Like we kind of got our venue down. We're gonna have to stick with like the venue that we have down yonder.
Give it a name at some point.
I mean, I just call it the venue down there, over there, around the corner. Probably not the best name.
I mean, if you check your guys' like social media feeds and sort of the community pages, the community has started to call it things.
What have they called it?
I wish
The
we would call it the
whole.
ghost.
One of it, like a lot of it, popular is the cave. Down below.
Yeah, I like the down below.
I like
That's my
that one.
favorite.
There's
too.
a couple here and there. Those are the two most popular ones.
That one or the way down.
The way down, yeah. I mean, you guys
Yeah,
can.
I like the down below.
Cool. Yeah. So, do you guys like give that your official stamp of approval and kind of canonize it as the down below?
Yeah, I'll start when I'm making up our little promos for our next show. I'll make sure to put that as the name of the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the
Me too.
Vikings are probably going to be like, why'd they name it without our input? And be like, because we made it, bitches. You probably shouldn't tell them that, though.
We'll let Bram deal with that.
That's fair. That is his problem. That's his problem to deal with.
Well,
So what do we want to
mean-
do for our next show? What's our next where we want to go with it? What's our theme?
I mean, Panic Attack really set people on fire, and I think a lot of people, are myself included, still kind of shook up by that. So maybe working something off the Aberrant Attack.
Aberrant Angle? I don't want it to turn into like, how do I put it?
Not directly, kind of like how when there's like a disaster somewhere, and then there's like a lot of films that or books and stuff that are about similar disasters but not the same one. Godzilla kind of stuff.
How about kind of have some brainstorming going on with it?
Post-apocalyptic.
Thinking more
Nothing-
like
for a little more hope than that, but
Well, post-apocalyptic orgiastic. The sort of, it can't possibly get any worse, so let's celebrate sort of mentality. A little bit macabre, but
I can dig that.
what about dealing with something a bit more real than that?
Hmm.
Like not necessarily doing a set about trauma, but perhaps one doing a set like different experiences with how to cope with trauma.
That's
Does that make
deep.
sense?
Do a few little vignettes of people dealing with things, like kind of imply what happened in the story, but not really come out
Yeah.
and say it, and like just have like some different little vignettes of people getting over some shit. I like it.
Like basically we can have the, people can put themselves in those shoes of those people who are living those experiences. And then the next part of it could be working through that trauma, like a set on like mental health awareness, something similar along those lines. That way we can actually like help people cope with the fear they might be feeling.
I bet we could do some kind of thing with getting people into that headspace using like hormones or chemicals or pheromones or something, like making people really feel viscerally like they're in a, not to actually traumatize people, but to make people feel that adrenaline rush or that sensation psychologically. You know what I mean?
I don't know about all that.
Because
But-
if you just put someone in a physical environment that seems like another situation they're not used to, that only goes so far.
Well, we also can do the big thing that dropped last time, do something related to that.
Pardon?
Or you guys remember that, right?
You mean our
I'm
last
blanking out, but I am.
our last run-in show that we had for a while?
No, that we're going to war. They declared war.
Yeah, that is something that the two of you did miss.
Yeah.
From last game. It's a big news story that broke in the past couple of days. is that the United Nations, in collaboration with the Aeon Trinity and the Psi Orders, have announced that an attack fleet has gone to the world of Chrome Prime, which is the home world of the Chromatics, which are an alien species who have attacked Earth space and some Earth colonies over the past couple of years. And they basically have said that there is an invasion of their homeworld to remove their capacity to wage war on humanity. It's not a lot is known because it's happening, how many tens of light years away. And, the military doesn't tell you what it's doing. So you are knowing what they are telling you in that regard. So, but yeah, no, humanity is officially at war actively.
My worry is that if we don't do something related to that, the Liberty fuckheads are going to. And last time we wanted them whipping up people into a frenzy like they already do.
So how about human resilience as a theme? That kind of draws on both of those. Overcoming trauma, survival,
I feel that.
like this.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely prefer to stay away from more jingoistic aspects of that situation.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
stay out of politics, but
I must
Can
have
we
slept through
really
the announcement or
afford
something.
to stay out of politics in this? Look,
I mean,
now,
look, whatever you guys want to do, I'll help you out. I'll help out with it.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
saying I don't have a strong opinion that I wish to voice.
I gotcha. I'm just saying that, we have a little bit of a voice that people will listen to.
Truth.
So I'm just saying we just need to be cognizant of that. So we're not just like, we're not being aware, if that makes sense.
While we're talking, I am Scott. I'm gonna try to pull up look on social media to see when the Liberty Lads are what their next bookings are.
Yeah, I mean they have their own sort of regular venue at that meeting hall place in the FSA Arcology, where they do pretty regular shows. But much like with you, their big show is kind of trailing off, and a lot of you can clearly tell that they are working on something because they're having like sort of cryptic promotional pieces coming up featuring a lot of military equipment and weapons kind of imagery, so it's not too terribly hard to figure out what they might be doing, but there has been no release date for their next show.
I just kind of show y'all an album of like some of the promotional material. Well, whatever we're up to, the opposite of that, I suppose.
Oh, look, military
Agreed.
equipment to deal with the war.
Yes, they're big, strong lads.
Mm-hmm.
Big lame lads.
So if they're
jotting down
doing,
the ideas you guys have been putting out.
so if they're doing weaponry and military shit, I don't know. How can we comment on that without commenting on it?
I mean, but also just go in a different direction altogether.
Yeah.
We don't have to make a comment on the war effort that's happening right now. We could kind of sit back and see how that plays out.
Sorry, I totally lost track of what you were saying there, but I'm sure it was great. But yeah.
It's fair.
You have the most comforting way of saying I'm not listening, Mice.
No, I was listening. It was just my,
no. I saw what y'all did.
The ears were working. Just sometimes the thought has to go around the back and climb in the window.
We could do an emotion set.
Yeah.
Do stuff based on different emotions. Happiness, sadness, lust, envy. 7 deadly sins.
I don't know though, because then we have to have a wrath section. I don't know. We want to invite that energy.
Could be us beating the shit out of Liberty Lads, but I think that's a bit too on nose.
Yeah.
Then we'd have to invite them.
Like they're not gonna show up anyway. Come on
Truth.
now. They
Yeah.
showed up last time.
Let the rap section be improvisational.
Improv. What are we pissed about today? Oh, wait, that's a great idea. Doing it crowd interaction, so therefore the wrath part is dependent on the crowd that's around us. And
I think
making
that's how
wrath
riots get started.
just like an old-fashioned bitch fest.
I wish there were like wisdom rules in this game so that the comment Hannah just made could be like, oh, right. Yeah, we should probably all file that away.
Or we could just have, like, I don't know, pinatas that look like a very stupid looking aberrant kind of thing and let people beat it up.
I dig that. We could work with that.
Or
Yeah.
make it more crafty. Let them craft their own effigy and destroy it.
We could have some kind of burn pile.
Burning or like smashing into the ground. Like we could do like an interactive like art piece where they're able to put like express their own rage and wrath on a wall with like different types of paint.
So
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
a
yeah,
let and
yeah.
go ceremony. Like, I
Yeah.
brought this and I'm disposing of
Yeah.
it here.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
need a let's go with either a science or a culture roll
From
from just whoever wants to make it.
Which one?
Cunning or intellect?
Either would apply.
Biz. Did I not pull my dice roller? One, two, three,
Wow.
4. 3.
0 successes and one of them's a 1.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
I rolled so many dice.
Yeah. Frankie, as you're sort of thinking about this and like thinking about, craft project, sort of with a destructive element, particularly when Mice brings up the idea of a burn pile, you kind of have to step back and remember that you guys lived in pressurized environments. And
oh right.
I was assuming it was metaphorically burning it.
Yeah. And just something to keep in mind is that while law enforcement tends to not, or that sort of thing, the further down you go, even though you guys are going to be fairly down, tends to be, more and more lax. Threats to the environment and the safety level of Olympus on the moon, it doesn't matter where you are. If there is something like a fire, out of control fire, or something that threatens the safety of the sort of the Luna environment and you will have emergency services followed by cops, no matter where you are, because no one followed by gangsters. Followed by common people. Someone is going to want to put you out an airlock for threatening that sort of stuff.
Gotcha. So no burn pile.
Yeah, it's something to keep in mind in general when you're talking about a destructive project. There is a pretty big limit on your environment.
Go, sir.
So maybe pinatas then.
I still like the paint idea.
Or paint. Yeah.
Like
and all of the previous non-burning ideas.
How about we do something where people, at the first part of the show, we invite people to express themselves with paint, with the obvious knowledge that it's going to, by the end of the show, be painted over by layered other experiences within the show.
Ooh, I like that. That looks great.
So I'm gonna put a little structure on this. So remember how we put together the last one?
Mm-hmm.
We had a primary type of bang. From the list provided, which you've got Sono Bang, which is music and sound, Viz Bang, which is visual art, Lang Bang, which is written spoken word, Aroma Bang, which is scent based, Fizz Bang, sculptures, interactive play structures, haptic feedback generators, Gusta Bang, which is food and drink, RP Bang, which is improvised theater, Acro Bang, which is like acrobatics and dance, and Cost Bang, which is bang shows of fashion and costuming skills. So it sounds to me like either Viz Bang or Fizz Bang is what you guys are going for primarily.
Yeah.
I think Fizz Bang this time around. I think it's we want it to be a lot more interactive. At least I do.
Okay, so yeah, this is interactive play structures. Like crafting certainly would be, something that you would have. If it's going to be interactive and sort of community crafting, materials is going to be probably one of your biggest thing, because you're going to, not just for the first show but shows thereafter, refreshing your materials that's the prime logistical hurdle that you guys think of. But yeah, what other bang elements would you be weaving in as sort of secondary experiences?
Definitely some beats.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's always music.
Some sono bang.
Yeah.
Kind of use that to curate the mood as far as what we're inviting people to represent with their crafting as we start layering over stuff.
Okay.
So maybe like music and a little touch of role play, just because that's kind of a, putting your mind into things.
So primarily Fizz Bang with elements of Sono Bang and RP Bang.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, cool.
I think
we'll probably have to do a little.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's just saying the thing out loud. Like, we're gonna have to guide them through this either with like some information beforehand about what kind of experience it is, as well as being real careful with what we're presenting sonically and visually along the way to kind of help guide the experience. If not, can't control it completely, of course, that'd defeat the purpose. But
okay, hold on. What if we approach this like a fairy tale book?
I'm intrigued.
I'm immediately picturing some like kind of pop-up looking things that we can maybe like throw up so we can kind of roll, we can kind of roll up and layer over stuff.
My idea is that it is a storybook that comes to life, and it's all about basically the different stories represent a different emotion. And instead of replacing the different structures after everything's done, that basically will whitewash it all over. Like we have big main structures.
Leave one element from the last story that's just kind of persistent through. So that the stories have a little through line to them as the last ones kind of influence the next ones.
Right, and that our roles in this show is the role of the narrator. And so we're guiding people where they're actually doing an interactive story.
We might have to do this one a little smaller than our last one, as a number of people who attend any given event. But I'd pay to go see that. That sounds fun as hell.
Yeah, Bang experiences are all different. They're not always, big showstoppers. Some of them are more art gallery style things where you want to limit the number of people who go through it at a time.
Yep.
I think that's a great idea.
It seems like the kind of thing that will require a very solid skeleton, but then a lot of in the moment improvisation on top of that when we actually do the show.
Absolutely.
So
and it really helps, like we can have 3D aspects of it, like maybe like a tree or like a different sculptures, but the main bulk of it, what we can do instead of having to do like instead of doing like having to basically get brand new materials every single time, we can have the base skeletons put up, and what actually the main cost of it will be is the backdrop, which is them basically painting over, and we can use like recycled different materials like canvas. Or
we can also make some of that creation virtual if we can set up the tech for it, as in they do this and the color they pick shows up on the wall.
I like that idea too.
I mean, I'll help, of course, since I know it's a lot of work to do in the moment, but.
Nah, I mean, do you want color shifting? I'll give you color shifting. And Mice starts making colors come out of their fingers.
I think this is a fantastic idea. What if we do it specifically like a coloring book? And then, like, Okay, hear me out.
You're
What if
blowing my
it's
mind,
all
Frankie.
digital?
Could you repeat yourself, Frankie? I just heard your mind was being blown.
So, what if we made it mostly digital instead of that? That will cut back on cost and allow people, if we do a recording of it, to get a recording of their storybook.
I like that a lot.
Into it.
And
not
that
like
way,
that's gonna cost
everyone's
much
story,
resources.
and everyone's story is different. So every bang show from each story is different.
We should make them sign a release that we also get the story, and we can put that on a digital album as well for experiencing it after the fact. Kind of make a
That's
little
why
compendium over the run of it. I like it.
Yes, that is what we have you for, because I ain't got the mind for that.
All of my years of legal experience.
Excellent.
I'm sure there's a standard thing I can find for that.
Yeah. Speaking of like recycling, reusing things, like because you did have some fizz bang elements of your last show, particularly like the big interactive tree.
Yep.
Are you guys going to recycle that, or is that going to be breaking that down?
I think we should recycle it. I think that should be a standard piece in all of our shows there.
If we ever really want to make a statement after we've been using it for a long time, then changing it or removing it, I mean, we're called Wonderroot. I mean, that's kind of our thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, we'd have to invite people to each come and take a piece or something. That would be.
Yeah, but we're definitely going to reuse.
But for now, yeah.
For now, reuse.
I mean,
it's a staple.
There's a lot of trees and fairy stories. I think we can work this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so your guys are going to do sort of this interactive, ever-changing storybook with sort of themes of emotion and coping and that sort of theming.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I like it. All right.
Yep, with kind of a chain aspect of like the last story influences the next one.
Yeah. So you'll curate. Are you going to like curate which elements?
Yeah, I think we'll probably do it in the moment.
Yeah, I think specifically kind of the first, I kind of don't want it to be one emotion for every storybook, but we could do it that way. I thought of it being like a variety of different stories in a book. So everyone's got like a different,
with like
unless we want to make each show one book. And then you can put it all together at the end.
Maybe throw a big non-interactive show at the end of our run for to invite people back to see the end result of their temporarily disparate collaboration.
Yes, more like an art gallery kind of thing where it's
so we do like
show that's
small intimate shows along the way, and then the end is what's all the pieces that are left.
Right, will be a big release that we can, release out to everyone and allow them to see it put together.
Well, that's arty as hell, and I like it.
Excellent. Then let's do that. We'll make each show currently themed. And instead of making it themed, basically we'll do it themed around an emotion, but we will get visual representations of that emotion. Does that make sense? Like for Wrath, for example, different things that you think of with Wrath when it comes to those types of stories. I tend to I'm getting a lot of wolves. It could be a variation on like the Three Little Pigs.
All right.
Like each story is classically based in an old fairy tale.
A gingerbread house for gluttony.
Stuff like that. Like different, a
little on the nose, but
you know what I mean? Like be like, and basically it's going to start off like the normal fairy tale would start off, but through the crowd's interaction, basically we're going to have them start telling the story and be able to paint the scene around them, and we're basically facilitating this experience.
This is going to require more hollow emitter dexterity than I think I've ever had to do for a single show before, and I hope it's not too much information to say that I'm nearly aroused by this idea.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, honey bun.
Offer to help because I've been practicing, but that kind of. All right.
It's going to be an all-weeker.
We're like, yeah, it's going to be great. I'm excited now. Now we just need to start getting shit together.
Okay, yeah. So you can definitely start that. I think we're going to put off doing any sort of like preparatory rolls
Sure.
for a little bit because I think maybe you probably want to have there are some other elements that you guys might need to incorporate that, namely your criminal partners.
What?
Yeah, we do kind of need to make sure they're cool with it. I do start to throw away. I do start to put together a tiny little teaser to put online of what we're thinking, but
Okay.
just I'll leave it pretty open. Just hey, we're still doing stuff. Look
Okay.
out.
You
Stories.
should. Yeah, I would make it a storybook, like just
Yeah.
like a picture, like a blank, like a coloring book. That's
I
what
make
I
it
would do.
look like kind of a pop-up book that gets colored in, and
Okay.
it's just like maybe like 3 little scenes. And
Give me
then
a
it ends with
culture
the Wonder
roll.
Root logo. Yeah.
Use some of our momentum dice. Make that shit rock.
Indeed, you guys have 4 momentum at the moment.
Nice.
We should have 5, or actually 6. She botched.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Want me to use 3 of them?
Go
Yeah,
for
go
it.
ahead.
Rock this shit out.
So I'm thinking composure for this one.
Sounds good.
You look so betrayed, little boy. It's okay.
God, I'm rusty. The momentum gives me extra dice, right?
Yes,
Not
it gives you
enhancements.
extra dice.
That's more like it. Let's see if I get enhancements from anything.
Also gonna be a lot of improv for me if I'm doing like the music along with it.
Yeah.
Truth.
Actually use that.
We can do it.
Okay,
We have to give Bram a part in this.
if he wants. Yeah, so I got 3 successes. I'm putting that actually.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you put that out. I'll put that on social media. Dabble it out, and yeah, it starts getting interest because Wonder Root is pretty hot right now in the scene. Everyone's eager to see what's next, and this seems. It's one of those things of like, oh, is it going to be more of the same, or is it going to be something new and different? And this gets people on the, oh, they're changing it up. So that's a lot of like, you do get some of like, oh man, I really like the underground rave thing. But so yeah, there's a lot of crosstalk starting, and that's exactly the kind of thing you want to happen in, is speculation and excitement.
Perfection.
Planning.
Indeed. So yeah, you guys get those projects started on the back boiler.
Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Go on.
Working on some preliminaries on that, and the buzz is starting to build. So once you guys have that kind of squared away, you've got your idea going away, and things are kind of moving on that scope. What other things would Eddie be spending their time on?
I mean, usually I fuck around with Bram, but he's not here, so I don't know.
I occasionally go do some meals at the IRSA thing.
Okay, so you're keeping in contact with them?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
If she's going, I'm going.
More the merrier.
I mean, I
don't
like meals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to do a visit to the ISRA, their doors are always open.
Yeah, I kind of, I imagine I probably have been kind of going sometimes on my own, but if you guys realize that's what's happening, I'm happy to have y'all join me.
Sure. Yeah, so when you guys kind of get things set up and start getting some things rolling towards that, just some confluence happens, and you all head to the ISRA compound together for this one time, and they know you, Hannah, like you're in their system and whatnot. Frankie, you do remember last time what you kind of clocked into of about being on their system. If you want some privacy, it's probably better to do it outside of their system. Not that you have any firm indication that they're going to be spying on you,
but the potential's there.
Yeah, the potential's there. So to describe it, because I don't think Mice has gone here yet, the ISRA school, Oberstdorf, is part of the Olympus complex, but it is as separate from Olympus as you can be and still be considered in the Olympus area. So it has its own kind of dedicated transport line. It has its own dome. It is isolated, but still close to Olympus proper. And it is primarily a large green space under its own dome. There are lots of gardens. There's some hydroponic farm. There's a couple of different buildings. There's one large building, but it's kind of a spread out, kind of fairly serene, very green space. And when you guys get there, there's a different vibe this time. There are a lot of people out in the lawns. There's sort of spaces. There's a lot of sort of areas set up for different meditative and other kind of contemplative things. There's a lot of people here doing a lot of navel gazing out on the green space, and it has a different feel to it. It's less contemplative and meditative. It seems like the vibe is these are people who are working. They're doing something. When you come in, the guides who kind of process people into the space do a basic check. Check for weapons, check for anything. Is anyone kind of be sneaking anything in or anything like that nature?
What are their thoughts on fungi?
Fungi is fine as long as you get everyone as long as you get someone's consent before informed consent.
Yes.
Before handing it out.
There's plenty for everybody.
Indeed. Actually, when you broach that, the person who's sort of handling processing is like, how generous do you feel about being with that?
What's your favorite color?
As much as I appreciate answering a question with a question, I'm asking because, as you may notice, we're in a bit more of a workspace today, and one of our groups is using entheogens to enhance their work, and variety is the spice of life in that. If you wanted to be generous and contribute to our effort today, I could direct you to that group.
What's their favorite colors? Because I've got plenty for everybody.
I'm sure you can sort that out with them.
I mean, would you also? I don't want to be.
No, I'm sorry. I'm working right now. I need to be clear-headed. But thank you.
I get that.
I'll make you a doggy bag for later.
Excellent.
So where we'll be.
Very well. So yeah, she basically pulls something out of her from her mini comp, taps it on yours, and you get a little holographic direction to a work group.
From what I've heard of them, they will know where we'll be.
They do. They absolutely will know
yeah.
where you are. So you
I
guys gonna head to there? Are you guys gonna head somewhere else? What's everyone's plan?
I'm actually I'll tag along with this. I'm curious as to what this Drogo situation is.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna hang out with the crew. So if the crew's going over here, we're all gonna go over there.
Okay. So you guys head over to sort of one of the edges. It's by the dome. By the edge of the dome, it's elevated a little bit. So there is a view, a pretty expansive view of open space. And they have set up about a half dozen little sort of sectioned off areas. And anyone with any Drogo experiences can tell that they have set this up specifically so that people can transition from space to space in order to provoke a change in the mind. which is helpful while being a clairsentient and while doing drugs and being clairsentient on drugs. So yeah, it is sort of this particular, and you see people like, you see maybe about 20 different people, maybe about 3 of them at a time moving from space to space. There are some people they're clearly in trip sitting mode. And yeah, this seems to be a fairly organized, like, it looks like, it does not look like this is recreational at all. This is a project. This is something they are doing consciously to achieve a goal.
Let's see who's got a sweet tooth.
So yeah, who are you gonna like approach one of the trip sitters, or what's your plan?
Yeah, that's probably more sensible than interrupting someone in the middle of a trip.
Okay.
I'll introduce you to someone when we get there, if there's somebody who I recognize, just so it's not as awkward.
You recognize one of the people.
And yeah, just mentioned the door person sent us over here.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned, and he kind of like hands off his group to another. I'm assuming, Hannah, you have your Cycloak up, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Sorry. So yeah, he sort of detaches from his group, hands it off to another worker, and says, "Oh, hello, Hannah. Hi, Frankie, is it right? And we have a new friend. Hello.
Hello.
My name is Steven.
Mycelium. Pleasure.
Ah, love it.
Mice for short, if you...
Certainly. Do you have interest in what we're doing here, or what is the purpose of your visit?
She'll kind of nudge Mice forward.
I mean, well, multiple purposes. There was talk of a good meal. It's always interesting to see other people transcending space and time, and I thought it might be nice to offer some facilitatory substances for that.
Oh, he kind of like, you can see a gear click in his head. And it's like, so this is a vocation of yours then.
I dabble.
Fair enough.
A passionate hobby.
Certainly. I mean, hey, we are definitely pushing our limits here today. If you want to give me some samples, I can run it through a quick chem scanner, just to see how it'll fit in with everything. Make sure that it won't clash with anything else that we've got going on right now.
So what actually? So what is this? I'm kind of new to this kind of thing.
Well, today we're focusing on the war right now. There's a lot going on across space, and we are doing some logistics, tactical analysis of incoming information from the first encounters. We're really trying to get our heads around the chromatics themselves. Now that there's high velocity interactions going on, we're really trying to understand our way through this and trying to assist our fellow Psi Orders and the UN bring this situation to a quick and as bloodless as possible conclusion.
Sounds like you need some of the indigo ones. Mice starts rummaging in the bag.
We'll always take a recommendation. Indigo's a good color. And like, yeah, he gathers up what you give him, and he like pulls out a little bio kit and like just literally starts doing chemical analyses. And it's pretty sophisticated because we know a lot about in the future. We know quite a lot about this sort of thing. And so yeah, he's like, great. These look well cultivated. I think I can distribute these to where they'll be useful.
If I remember correctly what my guide told me, it can boost synaptic function by up to 70%, and there's a slight synesthetic effect that allows you to taste probabilities of having your heart broken.
Oh well, let's try and avoid heartbreak. Absolutely.
What does 100% taste like?
If your mouth tastes like tacos and you haven't been eating tacos, check your relationship choices.
Yeah. So we'll see how that interacts with our project here. This is I understand, all of you are neutral. But if you guys want to add any insights or anything, we have kind of a central sculpture that we're trying to focus our ruminations on. If you guys want to check that out, I'm told it's pretty good thing to stare at.
I don't know what that means, but I'll do it.
Yep.
He says, absolutely. He leads you over to like this area that's kind of sectioned off, like I said. This one more so than the others. It's specifically like walled off against light. And when you come in, you realize why. Because there is a very intricate holographic sculpture in the center. That is... It strikes you as very strange because unlike sort of like the hard tech holographs that you tend to work with, this is clearly being created by some sort of biotechnology that is using photokinesis. So it's a different quality of light than anything that your equipment can produce. And as you sort of look at it, you guys start to see sort of the central shape is that of a chromatic alien. The chromatics are kind of somewhere between like reptile and amphibian. They have clawed hands and feet. They're about like 3 to 4 feet tall. Yeah, kind of somewhere between a large reptile and a frog. Has been their continents, and they do have like photokinetic glands that glow all over their body, and it seems that they are trying to model sort of the ideal chromatic with this sculpture, made entirely out of psionic light, and it's a hell of a thing to look at.
Yep,
Mice
and
is
kind of
just
gets
like-
lost in it.
Yeah, I was about to say we've lost Mouse. Mouse is gone.
Till my stomach grumbles. I'm like, oh, I gotta get to the kitchen. Have fun now.
Yeah. You definitely. They say, yeah, we are preparing a big meal. Everyone's doing a lot of work, and we're gonna have some hungry stomachs in an hour or so. So yeah, you make your way off there.
I'm just gonna babysit Mouse.
Nice. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Mini mice.
Yeah, I mean, this is the weirdest drug trip that you might have experienced because it has that work-like quality. Like people are doing things on a schedule. They're relating their experiences, and like even for someone used to drug thoughts, these drug thoughts are of a different magnitude. Because like they're clearly talking about something, and a lot of them are coming to similar conclusions from like entirely different angles of thought. You are asked your opinions on things, Mice and Frankie, from time to time, and you definitely are able to sort of contribute your own ruminations on things. But clearly, you are surrounded by probably roughly 20 clairsentients who are doing something big here. How would you guys, are you guys just sort of passively attending this, or are you trying to interact with this in any way?
Oh, interacting. Absolutely.
How are you going about doing that? What is your angle on that?
I mean, Mice is probably trying to converse with anyone who's not like clearly like so fixed on the sculpture, like anyone who has enough attention to share to spare in order to talk with us.
Okay.
Because Mice is both fascinated and desperately jealous, and kind of probably understands a little bit more about why Frankie desperately wants to be a Psy so bad.
Yeah. Frankie, what about you? Are you just minding Mice, or are you participating in any way?
She's just minding Mice at the moment. She just wants to make sure that like they don't get into trouble. That's her big goal right now, is to make sure that they don't get into trouble, because while she's seen like Hannah here, and she's brought Bram here before. She's not brought mice here before, so she's definitely going to be minding them more than anything else.
They know how to behave. I mean, usually.
That's mainly what
Just
she's doing.
Frankie probably knows not to let mice eat any of the green ones with gold spider webbing on top.
Okay.
That would be bad.
Yeah, and your contributions are getting filtered out through the various groups. They are the substances that they have here are a combination of natural stuff like yours, and like little paper strips that are like very clearly labeled, that are clearly like. I wouldn't call them research chemicals because at this point they know exactly what they do.
Researched chemicals.
Yeah, researched chemicals. I like that. That's really good.
I feel like natural is also a strong term here.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, like so they. And they have like combinations of like active substances that will calm someone down, that will help someone transition to another substance. Like they know their drugs here. Like they're real good at doing drugs here. Like it's a professional skill. And like
my people.
Exactly. So yeah, you definitely you find someone who's like not entirely in their own head, and like lost to the experience, and are able to pull them aside and get into a conversation with them. And but they're still pretty out of it. Like it's hard to get like a full coherent sentence out of them. What would you be asking them something? Would you be trying to like guide their conversation somewhere? How are you interacting with this person?
I mean, if they're doing something that's for the war effort or whatever, like obviously Mice doesn't want to distract them too much, but I guess just so because Mice has like the whatever it's called, the para hollow emitter stuff on their hands, that it's like the poor man's version of photokinesis. Yes. So this is like driving a shitty car and walking into a Lamborghini dealership and just having all the questions, so that's part of it, with an undercurrent of like, can I help at all? But probably not.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, you just kind of get into kind of a pattern with this guy. It's hard to really guide them with that kind of, since you're sort of overwhelmed and entranced by the same thing. But eventually you do kind of get into like, you get to sort of hear what he's thinking about. And they're focused a lot on a concept that is hard to get the collective group's head around. It's a kind of thing that people have been hitting at from time to time, but no one's been able to really get their hands around it. And this person has like really decided to try and like dig into it. He's talking about this bright light, this blinding light that is hard to look at and hard to understand, and it's got something to do with the chromatics and why they're doing what they're doing, because they're snared by this light. It's like they're moths. It's like they're moths surrounding a sun, and the sun has burnt through their eyes and through their senses, and the light is filling them, and it's not their light. It's a different light, and we don't understand what it is, and every time you try and look at it, it either diverts your attention somewhere else, or it just gets in your own eyes, and you start to weep because it's so hard to get your head around. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. Have you tried breaking the light down into its components? Because every light, no matter how pure or bright, and Mice sort of creates a little ball of light using the hollow emitter. It's like, it changes amplitude, it changes luminosity. You can break it into its different wavelengths and have the different hues, and all of them combine to make that pure white light. But sometimes you can't see the whole thing until you understand all the pieces.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way of thinking. Let me try and focus on that. Let me try and incorporate that idea. That's really good. But so you're right. You're right. That's how photonic light works. That's definitely how photonic light works. And let's see if we can pair that with the psionic, because the psionic it interacts with the photonic. But scions, not like, us, not inside the particle, the scion particle. It's everywhere, and it's entangled with every particle. It's entangled with itself, and that's how a lot of what we do works. And the brightness that I'm talking about, the light it's less photonic. It's more psionic.
Well, that's your area of expertise more than mine, but I would imagine that similar principles apply. Not the same, just similar.
But
you know?
the point where, I mean, I'm not an electrokinetic. I mean, they're the ones that really understand this. But we're really we keep coming back to this light. I mean, they're all about light. It's how they talk. They talk through like they don't vocalize. I mean, they kind of like he presses a button on a smaller projector, and it shows like a 30-second clip of like a chromatic, like not this like idealized thing, like you see a hologram of a chromatic, and it has like wildly shifting light pulsing patterns, but then you hear it like kind of croak, kind of bark a couple of times. It's like they make noise, but he points to all the lights around it. That's them talking.
I just had this really weird random idea, but I'm wondering if it's possible to try and like decipher their language in some way. Just from being familiar with different patterns of light, like, just an idea. I'm not sure if that's something that down the line we could talk about. But
you can, I mean, that is a very good question. Is that something you just think about, or do you bring that up?
Well, probably both.
Okay.
I mean, mice is definitely in a state where thoughts are happening and being expressed, sometimes in the reverse order. So,
you talk of that to them, and they're like, "Yeah, no, that's a thing we've been trying." Like, I mean, really, like, Orgatech, the electrokinetics, they've been really trying to work on that. They're trying to come up with a translator. We've had a couple of contacts. I mean, it's really hard to talk to someone when they're trying to burn your face off, and that's what they really want to do. And it's this hostility that they have, and it's that we're trying to understand the root of the hostility, and it's just so dominated by this light. Not like not this light, like this. It's like it's not really coming from them.
Yeah. That's heavy, man.
Yeah, it is. How is Frankie reacting to all of this?
Pretty much what you're seeing across her face. Like, all right, y'all. But she's also kind of like, well, like, because she's not a science person. Like, Frankie's just not. Like, they're talking a really big, in her opinion, quasi-metaphysical concepts. And she's kind of like, why are they pissed at us? Well, it has to do something with the fact with this big ass light thing. So she's like, what is it? Because we eat light, like light hits us and it doesn't reflect. Like she's down that rabbit hole currently, which is making her do a lot more thinking than she really wants to do right now. But she's currently down that rabbit hole.
Okay, so she's having her own kind of thoughts.
Like
that.
She'll share them if asked, but like typically when she's here, she ranges between I want to do that and jealousy, but to like I just want to help out and make sure my friends are okay.
Right. Yeah, Mike seems to have gotten a real rapport with this person that they're talking with. So it is definitely, you can definitely contribute. There are other people here, who will bounce ideas off of you.
Now this is Mice's thing. She's literally there to babysit.
But we'll go over to Hannah over in the kitchens. The kitchens are as they normally are. It's a bit more crazy today than it normally is because there's a lot of people doing a lot of work elsewhere, and those people all need to eat. So it's kind of a shorthanded situation, but the meals still have to be made. So you are absolutely like 100% slotted into the machine with ruthless efficiency when you show up. And there's a lot of work to be done. Other than peeling potatoes and adding spices, is there something Hannah's going to want to try and accomplish while she's doing this? They're doing this?
Yeah, well, kinda. She's just kind of like trying to gauge what people around here's thoughts are on the war starting with the chromatics, and just kind of listening to everybody, like very like mildly eliciting people's, whoever I'm working next to's opinion, and just listening to other people like what they have to say about it. Just kind of making mental notes. Not really offering much opinions herself. Just interested in other people's what their thoughts are.
It's interesting. Like this is the ISRA. Like you definitely don't expect to find like warmongers or people who are happy about the fight, and you generally don't. Like you do kind of couple people who have some very complicated feelings on the matter because there have been attacks. Like there have been very brutal, very sudden, very guerrilla style attacks on Earth and near Earth colonies, and some people have personal experiences with that. So there's sometimes you get an undercurrent of it's about damn time, but most people here are like this, like this needs to happen, but we really need to we need to know why this is happening. Like why the chromatics are doing what they're doing, no one knows. Like there has not been any kind of like diplomacy or relations. Like all that they have ever presented to humanity is attack. And they're a potent psionic race, and they have their own form of biotechnology. So it's these attacks have been quick and scattered, but it's never an easy fight. And so there's just a lot of like frustration about, wanting to understand.
Right.
Is sort of like the main theme of like, why is this happening? How can we prevent this? Like with the Aberrants, we know why the Aberrants are doing what they're doing because, they're crazy space monsters with a grudge against us because there was some bad shit.
Evil, yeah.
Yeah, they're evil, and we kicked them off Earth a couple decades ago. That's an understandable
didn't
situation.
make them less evil, but
yeah. So yeah, there's that, and like conflicts between Earth. That's as understandable as anything. You've got fascism. You gotta deal with that. But just this sudden alien attack that has no rhyme or reason behind it, frustrating, especially from people who are not inherently like warlike themselves. So yeah, that tends to be the air of what people here are talking about, and everyone's doing what they can to help out because the order is humanity's intelligence service, for lack of a better term. If someone's going to figure it out, it's probably going to be the ISRA.
I do ask them like, so we don't know anything about their culture, right? Like I know they don't talk to us; they just attack us. Do we know anything about them other than what we've seen in fights?
Not really. I mean, I think there's been like you're talking with someone who's you've cycled into like the dishwashing area, which is primarily just gathering dishes up and putting them into the matter decompiler, because that's a lot easier, and then a new dish gets printed out. But there's a lot of dishes, so but so you're talking with someone who was working with you on this. It's like there's probably been some analysis. I know some of the more powerful members have surveilled the planet once we got some information on it. But 99.9% has been just hostile encounters. I know if I had to guess, there's probably going to be some reconnaissance before the fighting really gets going. So hopefully they'll find something out. But yeah, we don't know what their lives are like. We don't know. I mean, they clearly have technology, but it's all military technology. We don't know about their lives. or their culture or why they do what they do.
Wonder what they think about us.
Well, they hate us.
I mean, besides hating us, but yeah, but you can hate things a lot of different ways, right? Like, you can hate something morally, you can hate something because you're scared of it, you can hate it because you think it's beneath you and want its resources and don't care what happens to it. I don't know. Do they see us as people like them?
I don't know. Give me a persuasion roll just to see how trustworthy you're coming off to this person.
I mean, I'm definitely not trying to be just deceptive in any way.
I just
out loud, but yeah,
I
don't want to come off like a sympathizer.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Oof. That is 4 successes and 1 enhancement.
Okay. He puts down a stack of dishes and he says, it doesn't really answer a question, the big questions, but we know they've been from what I've heard, they don't have interstellar capacity themselves. They kidnapped teleporters, the UPAO.
Whoa.
And that's how they're getting around. Like, that's how they get from their world to Karoo or here or wherever else they're attacking. So who knows what that means? Who knows how they got their hand? Like, from what I can tell, there was like an expedition a long time ago before the UPAO left for the first time that disappeared. And apparently that's where they are.
Well, I hope part of whatever's happening is we recover those people.
I think that's probably one of the bigger priorities.
Well, yeah, I guess I was kind of thinking of it from how dreadful mindset, but I guess also as a military force, that might be a good thing to not have.
I think that's probably one of the primary objectives. If I mean
that makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, beyond being able to getting our people back, it also removes their capacity to
get at us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how the hell did they capture an expedition? I don't know. It's strange. You hear things.
Scary.
Yeah, it's scary. It is scary. It's certainly not a thing that we really want to be dealing with when we're dealing with the aberrants and I mean, have you heard about the coalition?
I don't think so.
Oh shit! Yeah, no. That's another thing. Like, it doesn't really get a lot of play on the feeds because we know even less about them. But there's another race out there that we've gotten in contact with. They've got this huge, like size of a country-sized ship, and it's on its way.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't know much about them. Apparently, there's been
I hope that's a diplomatic or refugee mission and not military. That's terrifying.
I don't know exactly what happened, but I heard the first they sent a jump ship out there, and I heard that it went bad. So yeah, so we've got the aberrants, we got the coalition, we got the chromatics. Who the hell else knows? I think we're in for some times. I think we're in for some rough times.
It's crazy to me to think there's a whole galaxy, a whole universe of other kinds of people out there, and they all seem to hate us.
Well, we've got the kin. I mean, the kin are our allies.
That's fair. I guess I'm just focusing on the bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean...
Because, well, theme of tonight's party and all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we don't normally do this. Like, it's a lot of independent study here at the school, but sometimes we gather to try and solve a problem. And it's important that everyone gets fed. So we really appreciate you being here, Hannah.
Happy to help.
And on that note, we'll take our break. See you guys in a little bit. So we return to the ISRA school on near Olympus, where we have Mice and Frankie in a controlled drug work study, and Hannah working in the kitchens. In the garden area where all this is happening, there is a sort of a mandated transition as the tripsters sort of come in and start herding the kittens to another part of the installation, where this particular group is some of them split off and go into various other areas. The two of you aren't on the schedules. You're more like observers than participants. So no one is forcing you to go anywhere. But there are a couple of options. There is one that is sort of right up against the dome, and the sort of the settings have been cleared so that people can look like straight up into space and into Earth and the various other satellites in the area. There is kind of there's sort of like a meditation pool area where some people are sort of look at the edge of a pretty shallow pool. Some people are floating in it. There are a couple of banks of actual sensory deprivation tanks available as well, and various other things. What type of area would you two gravitate towards?
I'll let Frankie decide. Because I feel like I dragged Frankie to the sculpture where we had deep conversations. So.
Frank, when you look over at Frankie looks back at you kind of confused when you ask her where she wants to go, and she's like, "Man, I'm here with you. I've been here before. What do you want to do?"
I don't know. I've never been in a tank.
Well,
No, I take that back. I've totally been in a tank before.
First thing we did.
Yeah. Meditation pool?
Go do a meditation pool then. I
Clear
think
the mind.
Yeah, you go do that. I'm gonna go walk the flower garden.
All right. I mean, it's if you want company, like I like flowers too.
I mean, it's whatever you want to do. I'm just gonna go enjoy the plants.
I too will come enjoy the plants, unless you prefer to be alone.
It's really up to you, man. I'm not.
Plants.
Look, I'm super chill about this whole thing. So, you want to come with me? Come with me. But I mean, I just like this, experience the plants because you don't really get to see them down below. So.
Okay.
True.
All right, so you guys are heading off away from this sort of like work study area, off into one of the more floral areas where they have flower gardens, some of them edible, some of them with other properties, and yeah, you start walking. There's not a lot of people here. A lot of people are in these sort of work study groups dotted across the campus, so you guys can have some alone time.
You see Frankie takes out a sketch pad and starts sketching some of the flowers. Like she actually sits down and she's actually like trying to get a position where she's like slightly almost in a bush looking up through the flowers, and she's getting stuff for the show. That's what she's doing.
Okay, yeah, cool. You can absolutely be doing that. No, you kind of quickly review, like, am I allowed to do this? And it's like, yeah, as long as you're respectful about how much you take, you can absolutely take stuff.
Oh, she's not going to take anything.
Oh, okay.
It's more
Getting
like
ideas?
she's getting ideas for the show. Basically,
Gotcha. Okay.
One of like the being in the woods is a big central theme to a lot of stories and like story tales. So she wants to make sure the backdrop looks, I don't want to say as realistic as possible, but as stylized as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Mice will be gathering as much as they let mice carry.
Yeah, absolutely. Have your little herb pouch that you can start filling up. Absolutely. We'll move back to the kitchens where the dishes this set of dishes has been done, and your friend who you've been talking to Hannah, whose name is Wayu. She says, like, let's take a break.
I look over at the mound of things left, of vegetables left to chop. And I was like, yeah, all right.
She says, so, well, we definitely appreciate your visits here. What do you do on the outside, Hannah?
Oh, well, I kind of help out with a bang collective, Wonder Root. I don't really do the artsy side as much, though. Sometimes I help out with ideas and stuff, but most of my time's more spent pseudo managerial role.
Oh, okay, all right. Well,
And I actually bring up our little albums to show her.
oh, she pulls it up on her mini comp when she scans the code. She's like, neat. I was into Bang, when I was a kid.
Is she much older than me, or is she?
She's probably she's a generation
Okay.
older, probably not.
So it's not like a 22-year-old saying this to a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
absolutely.
rude.
No, this is someone who's probably upper 20s, maybe lower
Okay.
30s. It's like, in my day it was mostly music, and it's something different now.
The music's still a big part of it, but music's kind of its own art form, and I guess Bang's more of a melange. And I mean, I wasn't around back then, of course, so I'd certainly be. What was your favorite show you ever saw? What was the coolest time you ever had at a show?
Oh, geez. I really liked. God, what were they? Well, they've changed their name so many times. But yeah, they were called. That's right. They were Dublin Bang. They were Dubliners. And they really kind of like against the United Republic, really sort of like punky, kind of very anti-fascist group. It was a really good show until the cops showed up, and then it kind of was a bad experience after that. But hell of a night.
I mean, was there what? I don't want to bring up bad memories, but what happened when the cops show up? If you don't want to tell me, that's fine. I'm just.
Oh, no.
I'm always willing to listen to a cautionary tale.
Well, I don't know if it's a cautionary tale, but I remember it fondly because it's one of those, it's real hard to win the war on that sort of thing. But that night we certainly won the battle there. We actually pushed them out.
Really?
Yeah. People were fed up, and for them to kind of invade our space like that. The week after that was kind of rough, but we pushed them out for that night.
Was this on Luna or was this
down? No, this was down on Earth, in Ireland.
While she's talking, if she says the name or anything, I'm trying to look up who they were.
They were the Donny Boys.
Yeah. I try. Yeah, I make a note. I just kind of quietly have my agent make a note of that for me to look up later.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that was one hell of a night. Like there were. I don't know what happened. Like it's so hard to get a victory against those kind of fucking cops, but we got that tonight. So yeah, I remember it fondly. I mean, it was rough. Like a lot of people got hurt really bad. But we gave as good as we got.
So, how old were you when you came to Luna?
I was about, I think, it was actually not too long after that. So I was 19.
Mind if I ask why?
Yeah. I didn't want to get arrested.
That's a good answer.
So some decisions kind of got made for me. So yeah, it was luckily I the school took me in, and I've been mostly working here ever since, and it's been great.
Keep in contact with anybody back there, or did you just really disappear?
For the most part, I disappeared. When you embarrass fascists like that, they tend to hold grudges.
They don't like it, right?
Yeah. So where are you from? Are you from Luna?
I mean, most of my family moved up here when I was pretty little, so I don't really remember Earth at all. So effectively, yeah.
Okay. All right. And where are they from?
I mean, they live in the FSA compound. We don't keep in touch.
Okay. All right. Okay. They kind of pound their fist against their chest. Like, I get it. Um, I am like, the United Republic is one thing. I am fascinated the FSA is still allowed to be in the United Nations.
I know, right?
Like, they freaking annexed Mexico and Canada. Like, it baffles the mind. It baffles the mind. I've had conversations about it with people in the school, and I guess
Well, they put a lot in the military, I guess.
that is true. I mean, we've got all these hostile figures. It's a hostile galaxy, and they make a lot of really good weapons and ships. So I guess we
And
just have
take a
to.
lot of pride in being seen as the ones that deal with those hostile forces.
Yeah, well, they like to say that a lot, but
Indeed.
they also like to disparage the people who are doing the real fight.
Check this out, and I bring up the one of the videos of us versus Liberty Lads. Not quite as glorious as a battle in the cops, but this is the kind of stuff we have to deal with up here.
You're on your way. That's good. Like I'm aware of the Liberty Lads. They are
Really?
not well. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you are keeping your pulse on the fight against fascism, and a fucking fascist rock group shows up, it's something to keep an eye on.
They're the worst. And they hate us. Which is kind of nice.
Well, then I think I'm gonna have to check out your stuff because.
Oh, please do. We're working on something right now that's pretty innovative. I think. Can't really talk too much about it, and I send her over the trailer. A little teaser we released. I'll make sure to get you in on one of the batches. It'll be more of an intimate bang experience.
Oh, really? Okay, that might be more my speed, I think.
Hopefully, we won't have too much fascists or cops showing up. The fascists might show up.
Well, you know,
they've been coming to our shows.
I'm sorry to hear that. But yeah, no, that's fine.
We kind of started it.
Well, good.
He deserved it.
My friend's not here, but our front man would be saying he deserved it right about now.
I'm sure they did. Yeah. I mean, I know I worked about a year or so ago, coordinating the project with Orgatech to build the bang boards, like the ones that the Muzians people use.
Yeah. Wait. So you do like bioelectrical engineering kind of stuff?
Oh no. I was an administrator. I organized teams.
So what do the bang boards actually do? I mean, I know they have Syed works with them, and I got to go to a Muzian show. It was amazing, but I don't really understand the technology.
From what I understand, like, I wasn't involved in the buildings of it, but it's like an interface. It provides a direct connection from a clairsentience vision, and translates that into something that multimedia productions can interpret and expand upon, like taking an internal vision experience and translating that out into something that people can see and feel and hear. So it kind of expands out of vision into physical space.
Translating a sense we don't have, so that we could still experience it, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. And also interfacing with, like, whatever audiovisual equipment is there. So it's a pretty, from what I understand, it's a pretty intuitive thing. Like, the Divana will attach to it, attune to it, and format to it, and really kind of becomes sort of an extension of their sensory apparatus.
Fascinating. I didn't really think about the technology. I mean, obviously I think about the kind of technology we use that goes into our shows, but the one time I got to go to a Muzzian show was, again, not into life-changing experience, but I didn't really quite understand all of that about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool. Like, I mean, obviously you have to be clairsentient to really get anything out of it. But it's cool. Like, I'm glad that
it was a beautiful experience even without that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I think those vegetables are not going to chop themselves.
Yeah, you're right.
So let's
Back to work.
Yep. So
I will let you know when we have our next show, when we have our next dates booked.
You know what? I've subscribed to your feed, so I'll know.
Awesome.
So back in the gardens, the two of you have been walking around, gathering some plants, making some sketches, getting some ideas. And like I said, there's not a lot of people in this area. Most of the people are in their work study groups. But you do recognize Frankie, and let me know how you react to this. You do pass like a row that like leads into another sort of section of the garden, and you recognize the Aeon woman who was in the bar a couple nights ago, who were tracking not you guys, but another group of people. You see her, and she is walking and talking with something. And you catch that, and you're pretty sure that she doesn't see you. How do you react to that?
Mice sees Frankie like keep walking for a second and then pause and do like a U-turn. And she basically holds up the finger of "I'll be right back." She's
Cool.
she wants to go figure out what the hell they're talking about. She's curious.
Okay, so you're gonna try and eavesdrop.
Yeah. In hold on, let me check my larceny scroll.
Okay.
It may be just me walking the fuck up. Hold on. Which is also I got some larceny.
Okay. Definitely give me a larceny roll to see how well you eavesdrop.
Awesome. Can I use some momentum, guys?
Oh yeah.
Go for it.
All right. So 2, 5. I actually found my dice.
Hooray!
Oh no, they're like the old school, like vampire. Look at 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. 1, 2, 2.
2 successes. Okay.
All I got.
So how are you approaching this situation? Like, what? Paint me a picture.
So are they going? Like, how do I put this? Where are they walking? First off, let me put it that way.
They seem to be walking around, not the section of garden that you're in, but another garden that's like sort of connected to this garden. They don't seem like they're going anywhere. They're looking like they're having a walk and talk in this garden. It's her and an African gentleman who has like ISRA, like he has symbols of the ISRA on his outfit.
Okay. She'll just kind of like take a different path in that garden, but try to be close enough to hear. That makes sense. Like she's like trying to hear, but she's like she doesn't want to like walk right the fuck up on them.
Okay.
But her intention is to eventually cross paths with them. If that makes sense.
Okay. So yeah, you get close to them. You start wandering. You hear some very little snippets of conversation. It's talking a lot about security. Talking about following some leads, and like you hear the phrase, "It's troubling, but I don't think it's what you think it is." And then before you plan on doing it, you cross paths with them.
Okay.
And the woman looks a little surprised, but the man she's walking to, like when you cross their paths, he is looking straight at you, like he expected you to be there.
How you doing?
Hello, young lady. And the woman kind of like squints at you and like you see her like pull up something on her mini comp and she looks at something on her AR and she just like gives you a very stern look.
Always with the glaring. Sorry about last time we didn't know. Anyway, wanted to say hi.
Hello. He kind of looks between the two of you and says, I'm sensing that there is a connection here. This isn't a chance encounter.
Curiosity and all that, right? She's kind of like smiles
like,
as
yes,
charmingly as she can.
Last time I saw this young woman, she was, I believe, creating a distraction when we were tailing the people we were just talking about, actually.
I did not realize that those were the people you were trying to deal with.
Good to know. Is that your go-to, by the way? In terms
Usually when someone of authority is messing with another group of people,
you take your top off?
It is. Hey, look, it worked very well, didn't it?
I cannot
Sorry,
fault
my crime
you
was too
there.
effective.
She says, actually, since we are talking about it and you happen to be here, have they reached out to you or have you been in contact with them? What's happened with that? We really...
They haven't reached out. Sorry, go ahead.
I've been talking with my friend here, and he's been telling me that they might not be what we thought they were. They might not be as serious as we thought it was, but it still would be worth our time to have a conversation. So
they haven't reached out to me specifically. I wasn't the one that kind of like got their number or anything, but I can reach out to some, like my friend who I think like they did swap numbers with. I'm not sure, but I can check with my group.
Okay. Well, the Trinity would appreciate that. Like I said, we don't think that they're in league with aberrants, or at least we from what we've been able to gather, what my friend here has let me know. But they're still dabbling in some dangerous things, and it would really probably behoove them to have a conversation. So you would be doing us a favor if you would facilitate that.
All right. Like, you just want a conversation with them? Like, what do you want from them?
We want to talk.
This talk gonna end in arrests?
Unlikely. Because it does not, and the man speaks up and says, they are not doing anything wrong as far as my senses can tell. They are not wandering into corruption or taint or anything of that nature, but they could, if they keep going down the path they're going, they might run into something that they're not ready for, and that could be of a great deal of danger to them, and from there, danger can flow.
All right. I hear you. I'll see what I could do.
It would be, like I said, you'd be doing the Trinity a favor.
I'm Frankie, by the way. I'm pretty sure you already knew that, though.
Our facial recognition software is pretty good, yes. And you gave us so much to examine.
I bet they had a fun time, though. I had a fun time.
Not my department.
Getting slut-shamed by the Illuminati, man. That's rough.
Anyway.
And she kind of like looks over at the gentleman she was talking with. And you are?
I am Nimue. I work here at the school.
Yeah, the name tag kind of gave that away.
Yes, well, it's a busy time, but we always have time for the Trinity. They are very helpful in organizing human effort.
All
right. He kind of says, I have to be heading off. And she's like, I also do have things to work with. Nimue, before he walks off, he does sort of pause, look at you a bit, and say, you're going to lead an interesting life, I can tell.
You know, you're not the first one who told me that. Apparently, she kind of gestures over to where they do testing. They told me that too. They asked me if I wanted to be monitored or something.
I'm sure something along those lines was said, yes, if you've been frequenting our school. He says, what about your friend back there?
Oh, this is Mice.
Mice is deeply interested in a flower bed.
They're a little high right now.
I picked up kind of a vibration. I'm slightly telepathic, but interesting. Interesting, both of you. He says, well, may the totality see you safely. And he walks off. She kind of lingers for a second, like contemplates talking to Mice, but then like picks up something on her mini comp and heads off. So yeah, it's about then that the dinner bells start to ring out through the complex, and all the various work groups start to wind down their things, and a call to the communal feasting. The communal feast gets called. Hannah, you've done more than enough prep work that they don't need you for serving, so you are able to reconvene with your friends on one section of a big communal table where a bunch of people are eating.
I do have a question, Scott.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
So I have an Enigma's thingamabobber edge called Connecting the Dots.
Okay.
When confronted with a pattern, a set of circumstantial clues, or incomplete evidence, the players may spend 1 momentum for a character to make a logical leap, which allows her to gain the results of a single research action immediately, as though she spent the required time to take the action and fulfilled all milestones. So I'm curious, given, basically talking it through with Mice, listening to Mice's conversation with the dude earlier, and then kind of having time to contemplate on it as I was sketching, is there some sort of leap I can make when it comes to dealing with the chromatics?
The chromatics.
Something basically like something to not so much like, gain some vital information, but at least push someone in the right direction of such.
Sure, yeah. Give me an Enigma's roll. Spend that momentum.
I will. Puts us down to 1 momentum.
And yeah, definitely this is going to be an Enigma's roll. Definitely a mental attribute.
Okay, I'm going to use, I'll use my cunning. I
Okay.
like my cunning. And get my Enigmas out. Let me see if I have anything else I can assist with this. Oh, sadly, Skilled Liar is not going to help me with this. Oh well. All right, cool.
It might help you when you're trying to tell someone about it.
Yeah. Not quite this. Hey. All right, so that's 3, and I'm rolling. 4.
Okay. So yeah, you talked about that. You talked. I will ask. Do you do this before or after? Like as I said, you all get a chance to go together. Hannah, would you share what you had heard about the chromatics?
Yeah, I'm just.
All right.
I would think
about our day.
I think it would be during this.
Yeah.
Like
okay,
us eating.
Yeah. Okay, so 4 successes. That's pretty good. You're thinking about it. You're hearing what Hannah had to say about it. You're sort of sifting through all the drug thoughts that got blasted at you, and you just sort of come upon the idea of if they don't have a native way to teleport or get between the stars by themselves. And they didn't have that until they captured these teleporters. There's a missing piece here. Like something, there's another factor at play here that needs to be figured out. Like either maybe teleportation is very rare with them, but like maybe like a handful of them can do it, or you're also thinking about like apparently like there's these other alien races that aren't widely known about. Maybe they have a relationship with another race that people don't know about that are facilitating this. So yeah, what you really focus on is how did they get access to teleporters, or human teleporters? How did they get around before that? Like how can a race that does not have interstellar capacity even begin the process of mounting an interstellar war? That is a big question that really needs to be thought about.
She kind of like, you guys are all talking, and then Hannah chimes in, and she just kind of like starts posing these questions, and she kind of pauses after she says them out loud, and she's kind of like gets this weird look on her face, and she looks around. Do I spot Mice's friend?
Yeah.
She walks directly over to them and like just reaches out and like puts her hands on their shoulder and turns them towards her and starts asking questions of them.
Okay, yeah, like they
like
he's pretty wiped out and like really pounding down the carbs and soy. But he's and like you start asking him questions, you start like talking to him about this thing, and he's like nodding, and like you get to a point where he says, wait, okay. These are all really interesting things. So they might have some sort of benefactor, is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's got to be some missing link. I mean, they have access to these people, right, to do teleportation, but they already know how to utilize it. How do they know how to utilize it if they've never had it before?
Benefactor, someone helping them. That's really insightful. Thank you.
Are the rest of us like present?
Yeah,
for
you guys are
discussion?
nearby. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
He's just kind of like, you're right. We really need to start that.
Maybe an aberrant.
I was about to say,
my first thought too.
Could it be
one of the Novas?
One of the Novas went there first.
Maybe.
That might explain
Who
why
knows?
they have an animosity towards us.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is they're psionic. Like they would feel like I understand you guys don't know like exactly what this is, but aberrants and scions, like we can feel them and they feel wrong. So I don't know if they
to an alien they don't.
Maybe. I mean, but that's the thing is the way we feel them being wrong is through our psychic senses. And unless they're very different, they would feel the same thing.
Maybe the Novas feel right to the chromatic.
That would be...
Well, that's a troubling idea.
Very troubling. Very troubling. Well, that's a lot to think about. Thank you, my friend. That certainly is... I think you've got something there, and we'll definitely dedicate some time on our next session to really thinking hard about that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It was kind of a collective thing. She kind of gestures to the three of them.
Good to know.
But,
Yes.
Oh, you bet.
Because we accept neutrals into the school. If you are thinking about maybe joining up, the Order could find a place for you. You seem to be very bright people, and we could definitely find a place, and you could help out on a kind of an official level. You all seem to be very promising people.
Maybe
Yeah.
one day.
I keep getting told I'm going to lead an interesting life. I think that's mostly because I'm a bang artist. We all are.
Arts are important, But thank you for this. It's like he kind of upends his bowl into his mouth. I'm actually going to go talk to my work group leader about this.
He flips the table and
And
Take his bowl back to the kitchen.
Yeah, he heads off, leaving you guys back at the table.
My question is, in a future society where clairsentients can create this sort of almost living light sculpture with the power of their minds, why don't they have just like a contraption that can cut vegetables on its own?
Something about doing it by hand.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
I guess so.
they got tools and stuff. Mandolin and one of those big blender chopper things, but it's very satisfying.
You
to
like
cook your own
making
meals.
things
I suppose,
with your
yeah.
hands.
I
They
mean,
like making things with
that's
their
true.
hands.
you
That's
are
true.
correct in that is how most people make food, is by letting the machine handle it. But they seem, like I said, they seem to value human work doing it.
I mean,
Well, the food is delicious, so.
glad you like it.
You know, it's
The
going to be
making
a
of it
two-prong
is
war.
part of it.
It's going to be a two-prong war for us.
What you
Like
mean?
Well, we got the aberrants on one side, the chromatics on the other.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
that far-fetched to think that they're working together?
No.
I mean, I guess we don't really know one way or the other. I don't think I've ever heard any stories of them being seen working together, but doesn't mean they aren't.
Or there's another race altogether that's playing middleman between all of them.
Or for some reason someone defected, or I don't know. There's all kind of crazy things out there that could have happened.
All the more reason to keep people's spirits up with art.
There.
Yeah.
That sounded a lot more inspiring in my head, sorry.
No, it makes sense. It's just things you got to think about, right? Like being, as someone who studies conspiracy theories, it's just, it kind of all clicks.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yo, guys,
Hey,
good?
Frankie,
Good to dip?
give me the
What's up?
first sentence of a story that you might tell at our show. Like if you were an attendee. I have an idea. Just any sentence that pops into your head. For your story.
Like any story?
Well, like the kind of story that if we're going to do this sort of story-inspired show, what's the kind of story you'd expect to hear?
Well, you could always start at the beginning. Once upon a time.
Mice takes out takes out their phone and is like, just any sentence. I just want to try something.
Okay. Now you put me on the spot. Once upon a time, there lived a girl and 3 wolves.
Got it. Cool. All right. Let me get back to you about that. I have an idea that I want to work on later.
Which reminds me, I need to put the finishing touches on this other experience I was writing. Called Solace. It's actually a really cool time when I went up to up top, basically to the tip top, and we were sitting watching the space dock.
Sounds majestic.
It was real nice. It was real peaceful. Hence Solace. I thought it'd be nice to compare with the fear of the last one.
Yeah. Well, I'm naturally gravitate toward bummer music. I guess maybe we don't want to be perpetual purveyors of that.
Yeah. You guys good to dip? We good to go?
Yeah. Let me see if I need any help cleaning up, but you guys can go ahead and head on. I'll catch up to you.
No, I need you. So
We can wait. I'll have seconds. I don't mind.
I would like us to have a team meetup. I got some ideas to discuss, and I need the whole team.
That was working just fine before I got here. We can go.
Excellent.
Yeah, there's no one holding you to a schedule here. So you guys are more than able to dip out and head back out into Olympus proper. Are you guys heading back to your crash pad, or where are you guys going?
I mean, I'm defaulting towards the crash pad, but we can go somewhere else if you guys want.
Yeah.
Actually,
So,
no, fuck that. We're going to that frickin' playground, the old abandoned playground.
okay. Yeah, you can
That's
make
where
it.
we're heading.
Yeah, you can make it to that place where you and Bram hung out.
Yep.
It's not too terribly far away, at least as far as super fast public transit can get you there. And it is just as abandoned and lonely as it was the last time.
She happily goes over to a swing. She goes, "Yo, Mice, can you take a look around? Make sure that we're all good here."
How do you mean?
Are there bugs here? And I don't mean the crawly kind.
Oh. Yeah, I'm happy to take a look around. I don't know if Mice actually has any facility with finding.
That'd be a
Isn't that tech?
technology roll.
Can I
Alright.
assist Mice?
Sure.
I just make a roll and whatever.
Tech plus.
I'm using cunning.
Sure.
Yeah, that seems sensible.
I have 2 successes.
Okay.
But I am assisting.
Oh, sweet. Oh. 4.
4. Okay. So with Frankie's enhancement, yeah, you check out the area now. Surveillance is omnipresent in most places on Earth. So this place does have surveillance cameras and apparatuses to keep a monitor on it. And there's really there's no way that you could find or disable them all. However, this is a pretty misused spot. So you are able to kind of go on and do some checking. And what you do is you find an area of the playground that it's not completely out of surveillance, but you're pretty sure that the audio pickups are either non-functioning or very unreliable. You're still going to be on camera, but you find what you think is probably the safest place to have a conversation.
Frankie's a singer. She knows how to pitch her voice to get maximum acoustic isolation. So.
Frankie happily kind of hops over and sits on one of the slides. And she kind of leans back and she's like, "You know that group over from the bar that we kind of helped out that one time?"
Yeah.
I mean,
So
Mice wasn't there, so
Yeah. Mice still says yes.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then it just looks at him like, what?
as Frankie just takes it in stride, like,
Don't you have drug thoughts at me, Mice?
So, all right. So we went over to the bar and we noticed somebody tailing this group of people. We thought they were in danger. So we kind of helped them get out without kind of realizing who the fuck they were. Come to find out, they have some not terrible ties to aberrants. They're interested in them or something. Anyway.
Not terrible ties? What kind of non-terrible ties are there with aberrants?
All I know is that the people at the school said they weren't doing anything wrong and, they weren't doing bad stuff, but potentially they could get into some dangerous stuff. And the inspector lady who was around there basically was up there. That's who I kind of stopped and turned around to go look at real quick. Well, come to find out, if we want to gain a favor with the Trinity, they are interested in getting in contact with them. I clarified it's not to arrest them, likely unless they answer, like, zealots or whatever have you. But they want to facilitate a conversation with them. They asked if we had been in contact with them. They hadn't contacted me, but I said I'd put my ear out and see.
I mean, I can send them a message, I guess, but we sure we want to get involved with this? More so?
The way I view it is this. If they are, in fact, cool with or trying to help the aberrants, that's not a great thing, right? Like, some of the aberrants are fine, I guess. I don't know. Look, I don't know. I'm trying to see the best in the situation. That's like saying all criminals are horrible people, which is clearly not the case. As a person in a criminal family, I am not a terrible person.
You make a persuasive point.
So I'm not going to say blanket they're all absolutely terrible monsters and should die. The ones that are attacking us are absolutely horrible monsters and should die.
What they were saying too, I think that's what Ram overheard from them.
Right. So I'm curious to know where they stand on it, because aberrants are pretty bad news. And if they know something we don't know about aberrants, I kind of want to know it.
So, do you want us to meet up with them, or do you want to just put them in touch with Trinity Lady Inspector?
I mean,
whatever.
Both. If we facilitate the meeting, then...
All right. Well, I mean, I got kind of an anonymized address I can send a quick message to.
All I'm saying, this is my idea. If we can facilitate a conversation between the two of them, then it kind of gets us brownie points with both sides. Like, they may not see this as a brownie point, but one of the selling points we could say is that if you deal with, this problem as it is right now, less likely of a chance they're just, likely to get swarmed and arrested outright if they're willing to talk now. Right?
I mean, sure. My hesitation isn't so much that as I regret all of our involvement in that whole kerfuffle. But yeah, I can send them a message. I guess I'll probably be pretty brief. Just we ran into that inspector. She asked to parlay. What you want to do?
Yeah.
It concerns them. I guess they have a right to make a decision about it too.
All right. That's true. They do have a right to make a decision about it.
I'd want to know if those guys were looking to talk to me.
Yeah, and I'm also pretty sure that I could get the inspector lady's number. She doesn't already have mine.
I just want to say this. I mean, Frankie, your lifestyle, your background, it's all kind of new to me, and I know that it's very familiar to you. When you say something like, not all gangsters are bad or not all criminals are bad, you know that. People on the outside don't always know that until they get some exposure, And I have to wonder if the people who are fans of aberrants, what kind of person is a fan of an aberrant without knowing what that life is like from the inside, in the same way that people kind of idolize criminals and gangsters. It's a certain kind of person sometimes.
Are you saying I'm an idol?
Well, you're on your way.
Excellent.
Oh, get them.
All right. I see what you mean. I'm just saying I like to keep an open mind, being that, with the whole shit that the government's covering up with, like, the scions and shit. So with that whole thing that they're covering up, everything's up for, fucking lollipops and sticks, I guess. The one thing is that people lie, absolutely.
What you mean?
The one truth about the world, everyone lies.
Is that a lie?
Very deep of both of you.
Oh man.
Give me a moment.
This is like those word problems they used to give us in school.
So yeah, Scott, I go ahead and compose just a very kind of terse message of basically what I said with like we ran into that inspector. She wants to parlay. Doesn't seem too dangerous. I don't have a dog in this fight. What do you want? Please advise.
Yeah, you send that message off, and it rattles around the anonymizer network that you have access to, and then eventually you do get a ping back, and it says, we don't want a meeting with them. You should stay away from them. We should talk. And they give.
Sorry.
They you get a you get a link to this kind of app that has 5 different locations that they invite you to select from in order to have a private meeting. So with sort of it says these are places we're willing to meet. You check it out and find one you're comfortable meeting in, and let's have a meeting.
Well, that's not ominous at all.
Just take a screen cap and send it to you guys because I'm not going to bring up a display where we might get on camera. What y'all think?
I mean, I don't know these people, so.
I mean, she's probably going to be watching me, to be perfectly frank, if any of us. So maybe you guys should go to the meeting and I should go play interference somewhere else.
I don't really particularly want to go to a meeting with them without you there.
All right. I mean, I'm just saying it's entirely possible.
They already know we ran into that person again, and they know they're taking risks.
All right. She looks over the map. Is there a location that she knows of or that's in a particular territory she knows of?
Yeah, you find one. It's not too far away from where you had dinner with your dad, i.e. an area that is deliberately in between turf and territories, so that
organized stuff them.
Yeah, play kind of neutral ground areas, for at least your side of your family's side of the world, and it seems that these people are familiar with those spaces as well. So yeah, that's the one that that's the area that you're most familiar with, and there is a location that is there.
She points to that, basically indicates that one and goes, that's the one you should go to. That's close enough to my dad's area that if shit goes tits up, we have a refuge.
I send back a quick message, then kind of just annotate what they said, and then you should stay away from them. I just put a little agreed, and then drop the pin on the map of where the one that Frankie indicated.
Okay. Yeah, they basically they confirm, and they let you know that they'll be there in about 40 minutes.
Well, I guess let's go then.
All right.
Kind of wish Bram wasn't too busy, but well, I'm sure we can take care of ourselves.
I got my gun. It's all right.
Yeah. So yeah, you guys,
Yeah, I left my stuff at home. We were going to the ISRA, but
anyway, they just stick it in like a locker. It's fine.
All right. Well.
Right.
Sorry, Scott.
No problem. Yeah, you guys find a public transit that takes you over to that part of Olympus, and are able to make your way there. This is kind of an out of the way, kind of like the bars they have in Japan that are 10 people bars.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that. It's not super Nipponese in its sort of layout and whatnot, but it follows that model of a place that only a couple people can be in. And there are they've got a bar, and then there's a curtained off area where there's a private room in the back. very much a dive bar kind of area that's a little bit more close and intimate. You get pinged in by the automated server and shown to the back area where there is a single individual who is waiting there. They are they look like probably someone who's around your guys' age. She's looks like she's probably from somewhere in the UAN, the United African Nations. And she is kind of wearing very, very like nondescript, kind of plain looking clothing. And she's definitely like having a conversation with the avatar of her mini comp when you guys come in. The avatar looks like a very it looks like a very stereotypical looking kind of punk young man, bald head, leather jacket, kind of a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. And just like you hear like hints of a British accent coming from it, but she shuts it down and looks up to the three of you and says like, cool, yeah, guys, come on in.
God, is that fucking Rant?
Make a culture roll.
I will do cunning and culture. 1, 2, 2.
Yeah, you know that like there is kind of a counterculture movement among some youth who are like really into old Nova stuff and the Atomic Youth story is a popular thing that people clam onto that, and a character in that old story was Rant, who was apparently a Nova back in the day.
She's straight up fuck, like when she sits down, she like she just like has this look on her face like, why? And she's just like, it's so pervasive. She just says, looking at everyone, it's so pervasive. I don't understand. What? First the Liberty Lads and now Rant?
Oh.
Like she kind of looks up and says like, oh, you guys know about the Atomic Youths?
She does.
Cool. Yeah, no, I like them. They're cool. Thanks for meeting, guys. And she kind of pulls up and is like, you guys are Wonder Root, right? Like we did some looking into you after we ran into you a couple nights ago.
Guilty as charged.
Cool. Yeah, let's talk. So like you guys ran into that Aeon woman again?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't, but
over at the school.
Yeah, it's not like we just don't want to get involved with them. You know, they lie so much and they cover up so much, and they don't understand what we're all about. So I don't.
Neither
know.
do I. Could you?
Yeah. What are you all
clarify
about?
that a little? I mean.
Well, okay, so we're like we're kind of a Nova Corps group. We try and find out stuff about pre-aberrant war, Nova stuff. And Aeon hides a lot of that because they were like in bed with Novas. Like they worked with a lot of Novas back in the day, and they don't want people talking about that. And they weren't all bad. Like even at the end, there were plenty of Novas that fought on our side. And now they're all gone, and now the fucking weird ones are back, and we believe that sucks, and why people are just like really, really paranoid about anything quantum and anything Nova, and like they're like the strongest humans that have ever existed, and we kicked them all out, even the ones that were helping, and Aeon's behind a lot of that. So that's us. That's what we're all about, and that's why they're surveilling us because they think we're aberrant cultists, I guess, or whatever. Even though we've never met a Nova or an aberrant or anything like that, we just really want to understand it and try and do what we can to change people's minds about that.
After y'all took off that night, that is what she said. She thought y'all were an aberrant cult.
She
or
actually
a cult of
doesn't
aberrant
think that as much
sympathizers.
anymore.
I mean, I'm sure she said that, yeah, but
She was talking to someone about you guys at the school, and that person was like, "You're not as bad as like you guys thought they were. They're not doing anything wrong, and they're actually genuinely concerned about you." The people at the school, that is, or that person she was talking to, they're concerned about you guys getting hurt and in danger.
well, I mean, I guess the school's better than Aeon, but I mean they don't want to help find Novas. They don't want to, they're all on board with the total war situation. I mean, I don't know how much we can trust that.
I don't know if they're on board with it. They're actually trying to find a peaceful way around it. Have you ever been to the school?
No, that's bad news. We don't want to get on their radar. But
Dude, like,
yeah, I
you
know.
need to
know. But there's a difference between knowing that they can be spying on you at any time and like walking into their house.
Yeah, but if you know you're walking into their house, then you can set up things for that. I'm just saying the school's a lot better than you think, and that's coming from me, and I wasn't really into the school whole thing.
Hannah is
and
looking
that,
like, what?
It's like, look, I'm just
I
saying
thought you were
they're
making
not
fun of me for keeping going there.
as bad as they seem. They've helped a lot of people. I'm not saying you should go trust them hook, line, and sinker, but if you're not going to talk to this lady, you should at least talk to someone at the school. And the only reason I'm saying that is currently you got a lady that wants to talk to you that's willing to do it above board and all that shit. Who's to say if she doesn't get through to you guys that the next time you guys meet with someone from their organization, it's going to be arrest time.
We haven't done anything wrong. Why do we have to dance to their tune? That's bullshit. That's bullshit, and you know it.
I'm saying currently you have a golden opportunity to set the stage the way you want to set it. It's your choice ultimately. I'm just here giving you the offer that was given to me to pass along to you. I'm here giving you the 401 on both sides. Do I trust this lady? No, I don't trust this lady. But do I trust the school? Not 100% no. But what I do trust is currently the ball's in your court.
Again, I don't care what you do as far as this goes. I just thought you might want the information to make your own decisions about this. That's my message to you.
Well, I guess I appreciate that. Make me a persuasion roll, Frankie.
Okay.
Can
I have helped with my
sure? Yeah, you can.
My good cop.
Yeah, you can roll. You can roll to give her enhancement.
I'm not actually lying, so that doesn't apply. Does my striking looks work?
Sure. Yeah, it'll work.
Excellent. And does my name in the lights work?
Not at this moment. You're not on stage of a sort. You're in a dirty back room.
That's fair, but it's a name in the lights is more like it's more of a initial. I'm gonna pull it up again. Page.
Yeah, let me hear the words on that.
Yeah, let me pull it up. It's a little different than just. It's like being impressive by the way I'm dressed, by like who I am, that sort of thing. Give me 1 second while I pull it up. It's in a different book.
Sure, I'll look that up. I got it right here.
Okay, perfect. It's on page 200.
People by how it's dressed.
It's okay if the answer's still no.
What? Okay. Given that you came here from like a druggy garden party, what are you wearing right now?
She's wearing her standard kind of punk attire, fishnets, usually some type of tank top to go along with it. baggy pants, probably a lot of plaid, but not in the stereotypical red plaid. She tends to do like a lot of black and pink plaid.
Okay, all right. I'll let that gift apply then. That she's down with that style.
Yeah, she's that is unless Frankie defaults to anything else, like she's getting dressed up fancy smancy, it's
Sure.
always in that punk rock style.
Gotcha. Okay.
Pull up my sheet.
Hannah, did you roll?
Yeah, 2 enhancement.
2 enhancement. Awesome.
4,
What's Mice's reaction to all this conversation?
Mice is like, I mean, while this is all going on, I just want to kind of empathize.
Okay.
like, just is she holding anything back? Is she lying? Like, just trying to get a read on her.
Okay. Yeah. Make me an empathy roll.
All right.
So I have 3 successes with 4 enhancement from myself and 2 more from Hannah, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a total of 9 successes.
Okay. Cool. All right. Let's see how Mice does on their empathy roll.
I was gonna say, does cold reader help at all? But I don't think that really. That's for like getting details.
I'll let it apply.
All right. Oh God, they're everywhere. Wow, that is a lot of successes. That is 6 successes.
Okay.
You let me open my mouth.
Yeah.
Bad choice.
Just observing the whole interaction and trying to deduce.
So you're reading this person, and like she obviously has like a spiel. She has like an ideology that she's trying to push. That she's got something that she really believes in, and you think she's being sincere about all of that. But you're kind of like feeling your way through the situation, and you definitely think that there is something big that is motivating her excitement and her antipathy towards Aeon. And like you also kind of get the vibe of like if there's something big, then that there's probably a reason why Aeon really wants to talk to these people. So you're sensing kind of the unspoken aspect of why all of this is happening, is that there's something going on with her and her group that's motivating to do what they're doing and is causing Aeon the concern that they have.
Like, but her dad's a Nova or something.
Maybe. So there's something big. There's something big that is kind of at the heart of this that hasn't been touched on, that is underlying everything about the situation.
Okay.
Yeah, Frankie, she's kind of like nods along with you and says like, I guess we could talk to the school. Yeah, like we'd probably be a lot more comfortable talking to the school, to the ISRA, than directly with Aeon. I mean, you're right. They don't seem to be like as like rah rah fuck them all as the rest of the Psi orders do. I mean, okay, cool. I mean, if you can set something up through the school, like maybe we can talk to them and then work something out with Aeon through them. That might be a good thing. It's just, my friends and I, we don't want to let.
Don't want to dance to their tune. I get it.
Yeah, we don't want to let them dictate things, and we don't want to squander what we've got, and it's just.
Hey, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a witness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty, like, we already don't like Trinity to begin with. Like, there's no love lost there. Like,
right.
At all.
No.
Like, how do I put this? Again, it's like a secret handshake. Like, she kind of pauses and she then asks in a very calm voice, she goes, "Have you bear witness to something?"
I'm gonna make a roll for her.
Mm-hmm.
she kind of like leans back a little bit, kind of like squints her eyes at you for a moment. And she's like, not like capital W witness, but we've seen something. Are you
Can I get a read on? I got some empathy. I got
Yeah,
some
sure,
empathy. So I read like, is that a good thing or is that a bad
Yeah, go ahead and
thing?
make an empathy roll.
Does your conspiracy go with my conspiracy? 2.
2.
Only 2. 2 9s.
It doesn't seem to be a negative reaction. It's like it's definitely along the lines of like, there's these intersecting groups, and some of them, have common enemies or common goals, but it doesn't seem like there's a negative reaction, but there certainly is a cautious reaction.
And Hannah's like, what you seen?
She's like, so we talk with the witnesses. We have some contacts with them, and they helped us get something a while back. They passed something to us, and she says, have you guys ever heard of Eden?
Like in the Bible?
No. Hold on.
I am gonna say I'm not even gonna let anybody roll on this one. You haven't.
I'm trying to find my witness thing.
Yeah. There's
That's
nothing
where I'm
about
going.
that in your stuff.
Okay, cool.
It's like, yeah, they helped us out with something, and we helped them out with something, and she kind of like looks around. She's like, Psi Orders, Aeon, they found Novas. They found a fucking planet of them, and they're hiding them from us.
What kind of you seem very convinced. What kind of evidence did you get for this, if you don't mind me asking? That's crazy.
Well, let's not cast aspersions on her claim.
No, I'm not saying she's lying. I'm saying I want to understand.
Pause for a moment. I have to go get another book.
Uh-huh.
I'll be right back.
That's fine. I just realized that there's a second part to this witness thing on my sheet that I'm now reading.
Mhm.
By the way, you are secretly a scion.
I am not.
That would be great though if like it turned out this whole time you had
She's
been
not a talent at all.
a
She's
scion.
actually.
Your face makes me very curious what it says.
That's because I'm trying to read.
Sorry.
Serious reading face.
Hmm.
We're a punk band. We sure do get into a lot of shit.
It's true. We're like, the punk band who hangs out with the man.
Yeah.
For some reason.
When I was 19, I knew one cop and couldn't find
Sorry,
drugs.
everyone.
Played a terrible punk band.
I will have to look this up on PDF. Give me one more second.
All good.
It almost
to
be
look up their
unbelievable if it
research
wasn't all true.
Indeed.
Stand up and stretch for a second while you look
Sure,
that
no
up.
problem. Give me
I have my
one
headphones
second.
on. I'll just be off camera for a moment.
In the meantime, Mice will get everybody a round of purple drinks.
Okay, yeah, purple drink. Good times. I definitely want to wait for Hannah Murphy to come back.
I am.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm right here. I'm
Oh, no problem. Okay,
just
so
walking around my table.
she pulls out a little hollow projector. And she says, "We got a copy of this, and they're hiding it. They're hiding this from us." And she pushes something on her mini comp, and a very small little projection of a beautiful man lights up. It's only about like 3 inches tall because it's like it's the projector is dimmed way down. But he's a beautiful man. He's wearing like this sort of flowing white robe, and a voice, a very low voice, like low volume voice, comes out. It says, "People of Earth, I send this missive with one of my friends from the Upea Wamasho. She can attest to the truth of much of what I have to say and to the peace and goodwill that the citizens of Eden extend to the inhabitants of Earth and its colonies. I am a Nova, what you call an aberrant. I live on planet Eden with other Novas, peacefully ruling a society of those neither Nova nor Scion. While I do not personally have the warp abilities needed to navigate interstellar distances, a number of Novas here do. We could have returned to Earth years ago. We did not for 2 reasons. First, trepidation about the reception we would get at the hands of fearful population. Second, we gave our word and wish to honor it. Our word is our bond. We left our native planet in order to save it, and we will not return until invited. I am not a monstrosity. I have the normal complement of arms, legs, and head, in the normal configurations. I could pass for human if I desired. I do possess power, most recently demonstrated a few years against the chromatics at Karu, defending humanity as my kind did in the past. I would be a liar if I said the Nova transformation does not produce monsters, grotesque in their physical appearance and psychological makeup. Going Nova can deform bodies and souls, but it does not have to. We of Eden cannot bring back those slain by our malformed cousins, those true aberrants who share our power but not our point of view. We can offer our aid against them in the future. However, trust may not come easily for either of our people, considering the tragic past we share. I beg you not to succumb easily to the prejudice and fears that imprisoned our mutual ancestors. Do not judge us all by the actions of deviants like Divismal in the colony. The Novas of Eden have much to offer if you only have the courage to accept. Sincerely, Apollo Milcom. And she like shuts it down as quickly as she can. She's like,
"Can I roll an empathy on that to see how much I like?"
Sure.
Hannah's inclination is to buy it, but
yeah, sure.
you know. That is 5 successes.
In so much as you can read a tiny little hologram, this person seems to be sincere in the message that they're delivering. It does not read as deceptive in any way. It seems as earnest as something can be.
And it leans back.
They sent this, and they suppressed it. They didn't deliver the message that they delivered to all of us. They're keeping it secret. And the witnesses, they helped us. They found this and they delivered it to us because they have.
What they do.
So sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, no, it's just this is everything that we've been saying, and they want to help, but Aeon's keeping it secret. They're not giving humanity the choice to know this or come to terms with it or even think about it because I don't know, they want to hide it.
I'm gonna need you to look me in my face real quick.
She looks you in the face.
She meets eyes with her. She goes, "Don't fucking meet with that woman.
I don't want to.
Don't."
Like, I don't know. Like, they said that it was the UPO who got this information. Like, I'd meet with the UPO because apparently they're cool, but I don't know about the
Is that the
SRA.
group that got nabbed?
Some of them, according to what Hannah's contact said, a group of them got nabbed by the chromatics.
What are they known for?
They are scions who can teleport, who can move themselves and like ships through interstellar space. They're kind of like a shipping transportation guild. Until they went away for about 5 years. Like, they disappeared from all human space for reasons that aren't known, but you might have an idea now why that may have happened. But then they came back after the Leviathans came online and were built. Basically, with the implication of, now that you can do this on your own, there was apparently some sort of dust up. Like, something went sour in relations that caused them to leave. But humanity being able to transport without them seemed to be a deciding factor in them coming back. And so, yeah, they are one of the big methods that humans can travel the stars. He says,
quick question. Since y'all got a copy of this, why haven't you spread it all over the OpNet for everyone to see? I mean, you're talking about wanting humanity to get the message.
we're afraid.
Because if you don't
Yeah, that's fair.
If you don't release it the correct way, people are going to take it and they're going to spin it as a scare tactic.
Yeah, they're just going to call us an aberrant cult. Like, they're just going to say, "Oh, you got snowed in by this pretty aberrant, and we're going to go to jail." But, like, we've seen, like, the stuff we've seen, like, we've got some pretty good data miners, and we've uncovered some stuff from before the Aberrant War, and they're not all bad. They're not all bad. And with everything that we're dealing with the chromatics, the
actual aberrants?
The actual aberrants, like, why would we turn that down? Why would we?
That's a good question.
Because everyone's afraid, like,
No, it's not just that. It's about control. They can't control them. That'd be putting a very strong powerhouse on the board that they cannot control. It's a random chance.
It's fair.
And Aeon already
allies will be tomorrow.
Right, and Aeon already doesn't have the end-all be-all power that it used to have. So it's putting another player on the board.
I mean, yeah. We don't know if we can trust them, and this is really important. So, like I said, thank you for being cool. Like, we understand if you're who I think you are, then you know why we're hesitant about Aeon.
I have bore witness to a few things, yes.
Cool.
Was that directed? Did that seem like that was directed
that
at
was
Frankie?
directed at Frankie.
Okay.
She's the one throwing around that word.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's just, we live in a weird ass world, and it's real dangerous. And
all right.
So you guys have been digging into this. So I have a question for you then. I happen to have a theory or a know that there are, specifically when it comes to scions, because I believe this is all connected. She says, whatever. Okay, Diane's gonna go back to her thingamabobber here. 1 second.
Can I ask a quick question?
sure, yeah.
Is it clear that that's the thing the other person that she was hiding or whatever?
Yeah, that seems to put the thing out in the open. Yeah.
She goes, since you have let us see that, she kind of pulls up a document on her phone.
Mm-hmm.
At basically, she kind of, I'm sorry, before she says she looks over at Puka and she looks over at the girl. She goes, we're clear here, right?
I'll do another technology roll.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. Gonna look into the nooks and
I will
crannies of the
assist you
bone.
again. Because I actually
the
have a
cat's
decent
coming to
technology.
assist.
Well, good. We can assist together. 1 success.
No, 1 success.
Ooh.
You guys don't clock any in this room specifically. You don't see any like obvious surveillance device. This place seems to be like a place where secret meetings can happen.
Yeah.
But maybe you think probably this room is okay.
Yeah, nowhere else.
But probably nowhere else.
She chose it for a reason.
Yeah, she did.
She kind of pulls up a document on her file, and she'll actually, Scott, she's going to show her group and this other person the correspondence that was sent to her.
The first one?
Yeah, I only have the first one.
Okay, all right. Why don't you go ahead and read that to the group then, and that will be the last thing that we do tonight.
Okay. I'm just gonna read the message they sent to me, not the actual correspondence, unless you want me to read the actual correspondence.
Go ahead and read the message that they sent. If you want to read the whole thing, either there's a book you can read it in, or you can go to my Patreon and find the full post. But yeah, go ahead and read the letter you were sent.
Valentine. I've attached a communique we've uncovered recently. Proxy Larson seems to be giving an Aeon bigwig the business, but the political bickering is inconsequential. The mention of the proxy's benefactors is huge. They've always kept to the line that Castle, Zwilder, and Burano, forgive me if I mispronounce those names.
That's close enough.
Created the Prometheus chambers and have never mentioned any kind of benefactors. Other documents we've dug up indicate that whatever really happened to give the proxies their power occurred on Luna. Keep this one close to your chest until you get a solid lead, but keep your eyes open for anything that could add details to these benefactors. No more secrets. And then it's signed Tamarika.
And I will flash everyone back to an earlier conversation with a coming down clairsentient after having been splacked with Frankie's epiphanies. He said the word benefactors.
Proxy.
And he said
he said benefactors. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that is where we will end this particular session. Let's go ahead and do some XP goodness. Did anyone achieve a short-term aspiration?
Alas, no.
No.
Boo. And
I didn't get into trouble.
No one achieved a long-term aspiration then.
No.
You did spend half the momentum pool, so everyone gets 1.
Yay!
And I will also say that you guys did complete a story milestone in that you guys got some pretty big exposition about some big secrets and stuff. So that's an additional XP for everyone.
So we get 2?
So you get 2 for this round. Definitely take a look at your aspirations for next game to see if you want to change anything to maybe figure out ways of getting more XP because those are the big drivers of it. But thank you guys for playing. Did everyone have fun tonight?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Very yes.
Yeah. It's interesting how a bunch of punk kids can stumble upon the secrets of the universe, isn't it? Gotta love it. It's almost like it's a game or something. You guys are the protagonists.
What?
Get
but
right out of town.
yeah, absolutely.
Better than being a main character in real life.
Indeed. Does anyone have anything they'd like to plug before we head out?
Yeah, actually.
Sure.
If you are in the southeast of the United States, there is the season opener for Rise of the Founders, which is a Boffer LARP local to the Tallahassee area in Florida. It is happening this weekend. We're expecting a pretty good turnout. We have great food, great, role playing. You can feel free to check us out. Rise of the Founders on Facebook. You can do Rise of the Founders. We have our own website. Feel free to come out, take a look. Might be something you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Good old Buffer LARP. I will close it out by saying thank you all for watching. If you'd like to support the show and the channel, you can follow us here on Twitch or on YouTube. Give us a subscription there. But the best way would be go to patreon.com/Simulacra Studios and become a patron. That way you can financially support the studio. You can also find us on Twitter @Simulacra RPGs if you want to receive updates on what's going on. But beyond that, thank you all for playing. Thank everyone out there for watching, and see you guys next time.
Bye.